Nix got hurt. Brock Purdy got hurt. Jaden Daniels got hurt. Lamar Jackson got hurt. Daniel Jones got hurt. And Matt Stafford's 38, and he's not Benjamin Button. He's getting older, not younger. Listen, I would have taken a tackle. I don't worry about wide receivers. The Rams find them in the 6th and 7th round. It doesn't matter. I would have taken an offensive tackle, but 3 tackles got picked before that 13th pick, and my hunch is they wanted a tackle, and the 2 they liked were gone. So remember, the first thing to remember, this is not the NBA draft. There is Hall of Fame talent, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. In fact, half the NFL rosters, I'm not sure if you know this, half the NFL rosters are undrafted players. In fact, the Rams left tackle, a good one, is undrafted. I don't think Ty Simpson is a future star. But Stafford's 38. He gets banged up. Last year, 2 weeks before the season, let me read you what Sean McVay said on August 14th last year as Stafford returned to practice. Quote, hopefully his back responds a little better. We're trying to get our hands around this. We don't have a lot of information. We're trying to get alignment here. They didn't know what they had. They had no idea. He was off Stafford in a $250,000 chamber to the side of practice. Nobody knew if he was going to play. You think he's younger? After that playoff run, yes, the coach McVay, he wants a receiver and a tackle. Coaches are dreamers. GMs are accountant. They're the accountant in the building. They got big picture stuff they got to take care of. And I think Les Snead wanted a tackle, and then all of a sudden, 2 of the 3 he really liked were gone. He didn't want to move up. They already got Trent McDuffie, right, with that bottom pick in the 1st round. So they had 2 or 3 issues. One of them was corner. Oh, they went and got a Pro Bowler, and now they got the quarterback of the future. I don't love Ty Simpson. Do I think it's a reach? Yeah, but you can't get Ty Simpson in the 2nd or 3rd round this year.
You know, I find this whole situation genuinely amusing because he's openly admitting that Sean McVay isn't pleased about this move, and at least we're not dancing around the issue. So, I stream this live, watch it as it happens, and I was just as taken aback as everybody else. And my immediate reaction was, look, I have faith in Sean McVay. I said, I'm surprised by this, but I still believe in Sean McVay. If this was truly what Sean McVay wanted, then honestly, who am I to question that? I'll put my trust in Sean McVay because my perspective has always been that the Rams, to me, possess the strongest roster and the best opportunity to secure a Super Bowl victory with that 13th pick. They have the chance to completely shut the door and declare, we are the most loaded, dominant franchise in the entire NFL. We cannot be stopped. We are unavoidable. Heck, they could have dealt that 13th selection. Just look at what other teams were getting for theirs. I mean, think of Jalen Waddle, Dexter Lawrence, A.J. Brown. You see the kinds of prospects out there. We witness trades going down. And so you get a sense of what you could acquire in return. So you could either bring in a proven player right now or someone through the draft, and that player is going to make an immediate impact on this Rams squad. I mean, I was genuinely excited at the prospect of having such a ridiculously loaded offense, right? Think of Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, whether it's a Malik Neighbors or a Brian Thomas Jr., there were just so many different directions to go. And then Jared Verse gets drafted, and I thought, okay, not what I envisioned. But I told myself, alright, this is what Sean McVay wants. Sean McVay clearly does not want that. I mean, listen, everybody suddenly becomes a body language expert, and as I've mentioned to you all before, being someone who's actually trained as a counselor, someone who had to genuinely interpret people's nonverbal cues and read between the lines, I'm fairly skilled at it. You don't need to be a specialist to recognize that Sean McVay is far from thrilled about this decision. And Colin can talk endlessly about how, hey, plenty of quarterbacks got hurt last season and Matthew Stafford stayed healthy. That's not the point. You're pushing all your chips in to compete for a Super Bowl over the next 2 or 3 years with that guy right there, with that exact man. And yes, you'll have other chances to draft another Jared Verse in future drafts over the coming years. That's what you'll be able to do. Then some people say, oh, well, he gets to sit and absorb knowledge behind Matthew Stafford. That argument doesn't hold water for the Jared Verses of the NFL or for coaches like Sean McVay. That reasoning is irrelevant when you have the Shanahans, the McVays, the LaFleurs. You don't truly need to spend years watching from the bench and learning from a veteran, especially when you are the type of quarterback that Jared Verse is. If you're Patrick Mahomes, if you're that raw athletic force like Caleb Williams, right? If you're extremely unrefined but your skill set is enormous, then yes, spending a year or two learning behind someone like Stafford, where you can genuinely absorb all the other elements missing from your game that need polishing, sure, I can see that logic. And if you're playing for teams that don't have Sean McVay as head coach, then absolutely, that makes sense. But Colin says, oh, Sean McVay is a dreamer. Of course he wanted a wide receiver. Of course he wanted this and that. And then he says, I trust smart organizations, and I think the Rams are incredibly smart. I think they are exceptionally well run, 100%. It was Sean McVay who brought in Matthew Stafford. It was Sean McVay who revived Jared Goff's career, and it was Sean McVay who said, get me Matthew Stafford. That was all Sean McVay. Make no mistake, it's widely documented. Sean McVay understands quarterback play. Sean McVay knows exactly what he's doing in that department. And so, the moment I witnessed Sean McVay's facial expression and demeanor, I thought, yeah, I'm no longer as supportive of this pick as I initially was. It's not a terrible selection. It's not a catastrophe. It's simply a lost opportunity. Even if he turns out to be their long-term quarterback of the future, if Jared Verse were this jaw-dropping talent where you think, this could be a Caleb Williams, or a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, but everyone's kind of on the fence about it, and the Rams say, we'll take a chance here. That's not the reality. His comparisons are Kirk Cousins, Brock Purdy, and the like. And it's like, well, you don't need that this season, and you can find that next year or the year after. If the Rams are going all in and aiming to win a Super Bowl over the next couple of seasons, nobody will care if they're awful after Matthew Stafford retires. You don't need Stafford's direct heir apparent right now. You see how loaded this roster is. You see the transactions they're executing. This is the ultimate win-now organization. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's fantastic to witness, and I respect it. And there was a move available to them that could have taken them to an even higher level, and they didn't make it. And that, to me, is what's just stranger about the whole thing. And again, Colin says, oh, like 60 quarterbacks got injured last year. What does that have to do with anything right now? That's completely unrelated. That's literally so irrelevant, just go sign Marcus Jones for $6 million. What are you even talking about? You have to use your 13th overall pick because quarterbacks get hurt? That logic doesn't hold up. That's not how the Rams are approaching this. If Matthew Stafford gets injured this year, Jared Verse is not stepping in and guiding this team to a Super Bowl championship. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. It's simply not happening. Lou. Teamy, repeat that. It's just not happening. I believe in Sean McVay more than almost anyone. I believe that, aside from Andy Reid, he is my favorite head coach. My faith in Sean McVay is through the roof. And I've said that the Rams have the best roster. Like I said, when everyone kept asking me, oh, who do you think is the best team right now? I answered, you have to go with the Rams right now. That was before any Jared Verse discussion, before we started debating any of that kind of stuff. I mean, the Rams are stacked. Absolutely loaded. And Matthew Stafford is elite. He is special. He is elite. He is special. You are not winning a Super Bowl this year if Matthew Stafford goes down and Jared Verse steps in. Just not happening. So, I don't care about the argument that says, well, yeah, they used the pick because he's a quality backup, but you're not trying to have a decent season this year. You're trying to win a Super Bowl. That's why you made the moves you made. That's why you made those moves, to win a Super Bowl. It is unquestionably Super Bowl or bust. It's about winning the championship, winning it all. Not Matthew Stafford goes down, and hey, we still had a respectable year, won 10 games, made the wild card round. That's not what the Rams are about right now. You saw Matthew Stafford at his absolute best, and the Rams still came up a bit short. And now you think a rookie quarterback who started only about 10 games in college is going to step up and win a Super Bowl? It's just not going to happen. It's absolutely not. So again, the entire idea of, well, he's a backup is irrelevant to me. Completely and totally irrelevant. 100% irrelevant. And if you're talking about next year, I don't care about next year right now. I care about this season. That's why you made the moves you made at this moment. That's why you made those moves right now, to win this year and maybe next. And you're talking about potentially extending Matthew Stafford, and so on. Like, yeah. So, this is where I find it interesting how we always selectively decide when to trust the Sean McVays of the world. Sometimes we say, oh, Sean McVay is so brilliant. Oh, Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid, they're so brilliant. And then when we see that the coach wanted one thing while management, the GM, or the owner wanted something else, we say, well, of course the coach wanted that, that's what coaches always want. He's a dreamer. I don't know if I'd label Sean McVay a dreamer, though. I honestly don't know if that classification fits Sean McVay. I mean, he's navigated the Los Angeles, he's the one who turned the Los Angeles Rams around. Let's be absolutely clear about that. The Los Angeles Rams were not heading in a positive direction until you brought in Sean McVay. And again, they did fall short, and he's the one who had the foresight to say, let's move on from Jared Goff. Let's move on from the number 1 overall pick, the guy who took us to a Super Bowl and we paid handsomely. I think at the time it was around $150 million, the highest paid quarterback at that moment, if I recall correctly. Let's move on from him. Let's go get that quarterback who hadn't won a single playoff game, who had made the postseason only 3 times with the Detroit Lions. Let's do that. And then, you say, oh, of course he's a dreamer, this and that. And yet, they went out and acquired Von Miller. Then they went out and got OBJ. So yeah, if that's dreaming, well then I guess you have to dream to win a Super Bowl. So Sean McVay knows exactly what it takes to capture a Super Bowl title. And he knows precisely what he has on his roster, what he needs, and what he doesn't need. And he does not need a 13th pick backup quarterback right now, given who they are as a team. You could bring up the Packers. The Packers aren't the Rams. Because that's the comparison I keep hearing. Oh, like Jordan Love, he sat behind Aaron Rodgers, and so on. That's fine. And the same thing with Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith. Alex Smith is not Matthew Stafford. What are we even discussing right now? Daniel Jones got hurt. That's Daniel Jones. This is Matthew Stafford. What are we talking about? And yes, quarterbacks do get injured. Again, I love how we always pick and choose when we want to emphasize quarterbacks getting banged up, because we'll say another quarterback is somewhat undersized. Oh, he gets hurt a lot. He's a smaller guy, he's injury prone. But now we're UST saying, well, hey, all quarterbacks get banged up. What are you going to do about it? Well, hold on. I thought we usually use height and weight against quarterbacks precisely because they get injured. But now we're just saying, well, everyone gets hurt. Well, Jared Verse is also not very tall. I think he's only about 6 feet 1 inch, a size that Colin also typically dislikes. Can't see over the offensive line. He's going to take hits. In fact, he did get hurt in college. So, I don't know. I'm usually very optimistic about the draft. I really am, because I see all these young men. I'm very much like NFL Live in that sense. Every time someone gets selected, they say, oh, this kid is incredible. This kid is going to make such a huge difference for this team. This is exactly what they needed. And I feel that energy. I get all inspired by these guys making it to the NFL. I get really fired up, I see the potential, and even when this first happened, I spun it positively in my head and even said so on the live stream. But it was really riding on Sean McVay's reputation. It was like, okay, if this is what Sean McVay truly wants, and he sees enormous value in Jared Verse, then I'll go along with it. I trust that Sean McVay understands quarterback play better than I do, better than you do, and better than 99.9% of people on this planet. And then he looked unhappy. And here's the thing, and this is where I'll wrap up, he couldn't even remotely conceal it. That's how frustrated he was. Because it's really not that difficult. You're being paid millions and millions of dollars. You're a grown adult. You're a Super Bowl champion. You're married. You are a man, a coach, a leader, the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams. And he could have easily said, Jared Verse, even if it's a complete lie, he was just too hard to pass up. As soon as we met this young man, we recognized his potential. We knew this was an opportunity we simply couldn't ignore. We absolutely love our current roster and our ability to draft well in the later rounds. And Jared Verse was simply a quarterback we couldn't let go, and the chance for him to sit and learn behind one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, Matthew Stafford, this is just too perfect a situation for us to ever overlook. We were worried someone else would take him in the first 12 picks. And as soon as we realized we could get him at 13th, oh my goodness, we were overjoyed. I can't wait. This is obviously still Matthew Stafford's team, make no mistake. He is our quarterback. But unfortunately, quarterbacks can't play for the next 30 years. And although I still believe Stafford has plenty of great football left, Jared Verse is going to absorb everything like a sponge. And I just love this franchise so much. The moves we make, I just can't wait to get out there. Is it September yet? Everyone laughs, and you walk off. But instead, he was just fuming. He was just like, Yep. Now he'll compete for the backup job. Yep. I won't share what I was thinking. They literally asked, "Oh, what did you say?" And he replied, "I'll keep that between us." And you think, oh, yikes. So, I don't know, man. For me, there are certain coaches where, when in doubt, you trust them. When in doubt, trust the coaches. They understand football better than you do. Those are just my thoughts. I'd genuinely love to hear yours. What do you all think about the Rams drafting Jared Verse? Are you surprised they used the pick? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree. Either way, let's start some discussions. Let's have some debates. But ultimately, let's just enjoy ourselves. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I would genuinely love to see you become part of it. I want to create something we all feel truly connected to, something we're really excited to be a part of. I think we're well on our way to doing that. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.